Welcome to Video Mag, where we honor the uncelebrated and rarest of all guitar players, the guitar playing journalists. This time we're going to go back to April of 2002. This is Creed on the cover with a green screen pyramid in the back. And we're going to go to the very last page in honor, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. If you can see it right there, it is Andy Babiuk, so you can go ahead and try to pronounce it yourself. He wrote this fine article, and we're going to turn it into a video right now.
Honey, can you read her a bedtime story?
Sure. Once upon a time, George Harrison had his first Rickenbacker. In the fall of 1963, the Beatles were a full-fledged superstar group in England, but still unknown in the United States. The Fab Four had already scored a chart-topping album and 4 hit singles in their homeland, and the fame had resulted in a relentless schedule of British live gigs, television appearances, radio shows, recording sessions, and by September, the group's energy had been depleted, and a brief 2-week holiday was planned for the latter half of the month. Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney traveled to Greece, John Lennon and his wife Cynthia went to Paris, and George Harrison and his brother Pete went to the United States to visit their sister Louise, who had relocated to Benton, Illinois in the 50s. It was during this trip that Harrison's sister introduced George to Gabe McCarty, a friend and local musician. McCarty, in turn, helped Harrison acquire his first Rickenbacker guitar at a time when most Americans hadn't even heard of the Beatles. George wanted to buy a Rickenbacker guitar, so I took him to Mount Vernon, to Red Fenton's music store. That was the only place in town that had a Rickenbacker dealership, and we bought a guitar that he had in stock. I think there were 2 or 3, but they only had Sunburst at the time, which was very popular. George insisted on a black one. I think George wanted a black one because John had a black Rickenbacker as well. So the music store owner told George if he would come back in a week, he would refinish the guitar and it would be the color that he desired. George went ahead and bought the guitar, and about 7 or 8 days later, I took George back and he picked up the guitar. He was crazy about it. I guess he'd wanted it for a long time. Harrison's first Rickenbacker was a single coil model 425 solid body, which in 1963 retailed for $179.50. The guitar's serial number BH439 dates its manufacture to August of 1963. Harrison used the instrument for only a brief period, and years later gave it to George Peckham, a Liverpool guitarist who later became a record-cutting engineer at Apple. Through the years, the guitar was modified, a second pickup was added along with the associated extra controls, the inside cavity was routed out to accommodate the additional pickup, and a new faceplate was made for the guitar, and the original Kluson tuners were replaced with Grover Stay-Tight models. George Harrison's Rickenbacker 425 is currently on loan for display at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio.